If you think the current AI agent is not easy to use, chances are you haven't used agent skills yet. But a new generation of agent launched after Zorpic GMCP. The open standard is a public mining show based on the general AI agent package. It can be encapsulated by loading different skill AI agents. Trade JLANT with expertise. Thus, it can complete specific work in specific fields stably and reliably. For example, add a financial skill. It can help us automate finances, analytics, and daily expense reimbursement, among other things. Add a legal skill. It can help us automate contract review, preparation, delivery materials, etc. It can be said that no matter what industry you are in, agent skills.
Here's a quick sponsor message. This AIAPI aggregation platform for domestic and international large models lets you access 500 plus AI model APIs at lower cost and with faster integration. Kling v3 is priced at $0.07, and the NanoBanana 2 costs $0.025 per call. Overall pricing is only 20% to 80% of the official rates, with token costs as low as RMB 0.05 per million. It also offers an online playground, so you can freely use text, image, and video models with unlimited concurrency. If a request fails, you'll be refunded. Just click the link in the video description to go directly there. If you want discounts or run into any issues, join our Discord community for prompt support, or add customer service and send the message 6 for one-on-one assistance. All right, back to the video.
Can help you encapsulate the repetitive processes in your work into an agent. Let automate. Save you in different time. And as it is used more and more widely, at present, mainstream AI has become a tool, and almost all of them have been supported. SKUs, for example, Cursor Cloud Code Codex, etc. Then in this video, we will introduce agent skills to you in detail, including its usage, operating principle, resource finder, and technical advantages. Okay, let's start today's video content. Next, we use Cloud Code to introduce agent test SKUs. If you don't already have Cloud Code installed, you can install it by following this document. Start by installing RAWGs. Then if you're a Windows user, you will also need to install Git. Then execute this npm command to install Cloud Code, which can be executed after the installation is completed. Cloud just warned verified that it was successful. If it is a domestic user to use the cloud model directly, it may not be very convenient. We can set up a domestic AI model for Cloud Code. For example, DeepSeek, Shinwin, KimiCare can do it too. Here we take the GLM 4.7 model as an example. Demo this AI model is available for free. Quota. And the effect is also quite good. You can see that it supports 3 configuration methods here. They are automated assistants and automated rocking books. There's also manual configuration. We choose the third way. Manual configuration. The first step, we need to add to the cloud folder in the settings. Add the following JSON configuration to the JSON file. Let's open a directory first because cloud is a hidden blade clip that is not displayed by default. To make it display, Mac users can press Command and Shift at the same time. Windows users can click to view it in the File Source Manager. Then show and check the hidden items on it. This will allow you to see the .cloud folder. Then we open this folder and find settings. JSON file. If you don't have this file, you can create one manually yourself. Then we will copy this JSON configuration. Note that this APIAPI is to be replaced with our own APIAPI. Create a new one here and copy it over. Then the second step, we need to add this .cloud to the carrier directory. JSON. Let's go back to the carrier directory. Then open this .cloud.json file. We can search for it in this file first. Whether this parameter is already configured. You can see it here. It contains this parameter by default, so we don't need to configure it anymore. Okay, after completing the configuration, we can use Cloud Code normally. Execute the cloud command. Launch Cloud Code and select Trust this profile. It can be seen that he managed to bypass this Etherpec identity. Go directly to Cloud Code's dialog page. We perform /modus. The model shown here is still the cloud model. Its correspondence to the GLM model is as follows. CloudOps 4.5 and CloudSolite 4.5 correspond to GLM 4.7. And this Cloudy Haiku 4.5 corresponds to GM 4.6. We chose to use this Sonnet, that is the GM 4.7 model, to test it. Okay, Now this cloud code is ready to use. Next, let's introduce how to use this ident skills in cloud code. This is a GitHub project officially maintained by AIAPI. Open this skills folder. These are some of the skills that ToAPIs provides us. For example, the skills of a design front-end operation, PDF operation, and the operation of PT skills. The most useful thing for us here is this skill creator. Then, this is a skill used to generate skills. That's right, AIAPI's official recommended usage. Use this skill to automatically generate any skill you need. So how do you use this skill creator? Let's go back to this project page. Click here to download the code first. You can use get clone or download the package directly. Once the download is complete, extract the code. Find this skill creator folder. Then copy it to. We currently use this in the directory. The skills folder below the cloud folder is fine. If there is no skills folder under the cloud, you can create one manually yourself. Other skills can also be copied if necessary. For example, this skill of operating PDFs and this skill of operating PPT, we also copied it. Okay, in this way, these three skills are successfully configured. Then we can use them in cloud code. We use vscode to open this one in the user directory, cloud folder. Then these three are the skills just configured. Then we open the command line and switch to this user directory to start cloud code. Okay, let's use a real work scenario below. Build a skill from scratch to help us automate repetitive tasks. The specific scenario is like this. For example, we are a company responsible for recruiting HR. Many job resumes are screened every day. Then, according to the company's recruitment criteria, eligible resumes are screened out and generate an analysis report based on the results of the screening and send it to your superiors by email. You may need to perform it often. For this kind of repetitive work, we can encapsulate it into a skill to handle it automatically. Go back to cloud code paste and paste below, now the prompt. Let it generate this skill based on our work scenario. Ask him to read all the PDF resumes inside the folder from a local folder. Then analyze the resume content and filter it. The screening process requires reference to the company's recruitment criteria documentation, including sales. Develop these positions. After the analysis is completed, to generate an analysis report based on this report template and send it out via email. And the operation requirements for sending emails are optional. Okay, let's carry out the mission. You can see it here. It will use this one that we configured earlier. Skill creator to complete this task. Then it will guide us step by step through the creation. First, he asked if we had prepared this recruitment standard document. You still need to let AI generate an example template. Then here we ask him to generate an instance template. If you have your own company's recruitment documents, you can also use them directly. Then it lets us choose what method to use for mail delivery. We chose to use Python scripts. After determining the plan, we click Submit and let it be executed. After these are over, let's take a look at this resume scanner. It is the skill generated for us by Skill Creator. Open this folder, and this is a typical SKU structure. First of all, this SKU. This is a markdown file. It stores the main logic of SKU. It can be seen that there are two main parts to its content. First of all, the original data of this skill, including the name of this skill and the description. What about AI, based on these raw data, can determine what the function of this skill is? When can it be called? For example, we send messages to AI. You need to filter a folder. The resume below allows the AI to match the original data of all skills. When this skill is matched, compare its description information. We can be sure that this skill can meet our functional needs. Then he will use this skill. It can be found that its criticism principle is the same as that of MCP. However, Agent Skills has a very clear advantage over MCP. It is that the token consumption is significantly reduced. We'll cover it later. Well, in addition to the original data in the SQL.MT, the rest is the specific execution logic of this SQL. The first is the data that needs to be prepared. It consists of three parts. One is the folder where this resume is stored. The second is the document of this recruitment standard. It uses this reference here. Directory. Third, a report template. This marker file in the SAS directory is used. After preparing the data, the next step is to read the resume content, then analyze the resume. Here you need to pay attention to the step of analyzing the resume. It uses this PDF skill to read the content of this resume. In other words, multiple agent skills can be used in conjunction with each other. Let's take a look at this PDF skill. In this skill.md file of it, this table summarizes the features it supports. This includes merging PDFs, splitting PDFs, extracting PDF content, and more. This is what we use in this resume screening skill. Extract text is a feature that extracts the content of a PDF resume. In skill, in addition to scripting, documents are in Markdown format by default. If you're not familiar with Markdown syntax, you can learn about it first. In these previous videos, it has been introduced that the use of McDonald's syntax is also very simple. It only takes a few minutes to master quickly. Okay, let's go back to this resume screening skill that's there. Do I need the ability to call other skills in the new skill? We can decide according to the needs of use. For example, the new skill is just for yourself. At this time, you can choose to call the EU skill capability. This reduces development and debugging time. Because of the existing skills, its capabilities have been proven. But if this new skill is not used by yourself, we also need to share it with others, or we need multiple people to develop it together. It is best not to choose the ability to call EUSQ. Instead, the AI should be told to use scripts to implement this part of the function separately. This ensures that the SQ will be more convenient for independent sharing or joint development. After analyzing the resume, then use this template to generate a report. Finally, use this scripts directory. The send email script is used to send the email. Finally, he gave a few examples of how to use it, and all that is needed is such a dark dialog. He would call this skill to help us automatically screen resumes. We can choose to refer to filtering resumes or filtering resumes in sending reports. You can see that the use of AINIT skills is very flexible by combining the semantic understanding of AI models. It can be flexible through the content of the conversation, choose the functions you need, avoid waste. Token. Then let's take a look at these folders. These scripts store scripts that can be called by skill. For example, this script for sending emails. Then there is skill. MD documents that need to be referenced. One is the developer photo standard. One is that the sales personnel's photo standard lists a lot of fine colors, including professional background, work experience, etc. We can use our own company's recruitment documents and replace these templates, or directly modify it according to your needs in the template. This SS folder contains some of skills assets. For example, template files, company logos, font files, and more. This is the template for the survival report after resume screening. You can see that the content inside is still very detailed, including those who have passed the screening and those who have not passed the screening, and the specific performance of each candidate in various aspects. It can help HR quickly grasp the specific situation of candidates. Okay, let's test this resume screening skill. See how it works. Here I used AI to generate 2 developer resumes. Open it and take a look at the applicant on the left who has no software development. Relevant work experience does not meet the recruitment criteria, and the applicant on the right resume has a better open experience. Meet the company's recruitment standards. We will use these 2 resumes to test. Drag this resume folder to box I2. Then we let it analyze this folder. All resume generation reports below, but don't send emails. You can see it prompting to call this resume scanner skill. We click execute. After the execution, an analysis result is output and delete it under this resume folder. An analysis report in Markdown format. Let's drag this report in and take a look. Click on this preview. This is the generated analysis report. You can see that the content is also very detailed. It includes reports, preview, data summary, people who pass the screening, those who do not pass the screening, and the evaluation of candidates in various aspects. So through this report, it can help us quickly understand the specific situation of all candidates and arrange interviews for qualified candidates in a timely manner. Next, let's test this email sending function. Let's configure the parameters for sending emails first. We directly ask the AI how to configure these parameters according to the instructions it given. We need to configure these parameters to create an application password for the mailbox. Then copy this password and save it. Then we asked it to modify the script it sent. Let's have it read these parameters from local environment variables instead. Well, after the modification is completed, we exit Cloud Code first. Then execute these export commands. Set the math for sending this email. This includes keys myths, the recipient of the key, and the application password of this email. Note that the space in the middle of this password should be deleted. Then we restart Cloud Code. Reperform this resume analysis task. But this time we asked it to generate a report. You need to send an email to see the end of the execution of this received email. It can be seen that he did not attach the survival report. And the content of this email is too simple. Let it optimize the requirements or remove the parameters from the environment variables. And the generated report should be brought in the form of a copy in the email. And all the PDF resumes. And the content of this email should be optimized. It needs to be able to reflect the purpose of this email. Well, after the modification is completed, this AI completes the test automatically. Let's take a look at the email received. This time there is no problem. First of all, the content of this email contains a summary of the data of this resume analysis and explain the purpose of this email. Then the attachment also contains this survival report. And these are all PDF resumes for easy comparison and viewing. So our resume screening skills. After some detailed testing, it can be used to help us automatically filter resumes to deal with some repetitive work. Then let's combine this resume to screen. Skill to introduce how AIAPIs work. In the process of working with AIAPIs skills, a total of 3 characters are involved. The first is us as users. The second is the AI tool we use, Cloud Code. The third is the AI model used behind the AI tool. Here is GLM 4.7, the whole process. Probably like this. When Cloud Code takes action, all the agent skills and it will first skill themselves. The original data is loaded into the upper and lower door windows of the AI. Then these raw data we have introduced before, that is skill. MD, the name and description of the skill in this file. Then this raw data can be used to match the call of the skill. And the raw data is usually very short. It is only a few hundred tokens in length, so they are permanently located in the AI uptext window and will not cause a burden. Then, when the user sends a message, the message of the request for upspin reduction will be forwarded to AIAPI through Cloud Code. The originals of all skill in the context window will be detected. When the data is detected by this resume scanner skill, by matching the description information, it is found that this SQL can meet the requirements. Then he will use this SQL to complete the task. Then he will really put the main logic of SQL. That is SQL.MD, read it over. Then follow this skill. The settings in the MD are processed. First, call post skill to read the contents of your resume. Then read this photo standard document for resume analysis. Then, based on the analysis results, read this report template to generate a report. Finally, call the email, send this script to send the email. And this sending email is optional, and that's how add skills works. It can be found that this design follows a concept. It is only when it is really needed. We'll read the data to the LLMAPI online door window. This can greatly reduce the consumption of consignments. For example, after Cloud Code is launched, the AI will only read the original data of the skill, and only after determining that a certain skill is called, will really read the various documents of skill. This way of working is called gradual disclosure or lazy loading. The main purpose is to reduce the consumption of the PIT, and in this process, the script will not read everything. The AI launch article only needs to read the minimum information required to call the script. Then our simple screening skill can continue to expand in the later stage. For example, add the function of interview planning, but it should be noted that a skill should not be too large. It is best to divide multiple skills reasonably. Then go to the linkage and use multiple skills to complete complex tasks. This makes it easier to manage and scale. Let's introduce a free website where you can find agent skills. This is the Skills MP. All of them are open source on GitHub. A total of 66541 agent skills have been included so far. Individuals. To use it, we can click on this search function. For example, if we search for related SQL about transactions, this is where we get back to what we need. We open an internal document that shows that these are SQL, including SQL.MD. See also the guessing document below. The shave script under scripts is also very simple to use the SQL. Just click here to download the file and extract it. Copy this SQL folder to Cloud. Under the SQL folder, it will work. We can see this generation by executing the /skills. The skills of a trading plan are already configured. Then let's use it to generate a trading plan for precious metals to give a try. After the execution, he generates a plan document in Markdown format. Let's drag it in and take a look. This is the generated trading plan document. The content is still relatively detailed. Let's go back to this website. If you want to view the GitHub project corresponding to this skill, you can click here to jump to GitHub. These are all skills that can be used. In addition to searching, we can also click here. View skills by category, including production tools, automation tools, and more. Here you can also sort by the number of stars or the date of the update. Then this website is used to quickly search. The skills required are quite good. Finally, let's compare the two lines of edit skills and MCP. AI technology feels very similar to what is used to do. So which one should we choose to use? In fact, they're all open standards launched by Astrop. The difference between the two is mainly reflected in the design concept and applicable scenarios. Let's take a look at agent test SKUs first. Combine our previous example of resume screening. So what can we find out what agent skills is doing? It is encapsulating a series of steps that need to be performed repeatedly. These steps are encapsulated into a skill to be processed automatically. For example, invoice reimbursement is also a multi-step process that needs to be repeated. You can also seal the staff as a skill. So what about MCP? We covered it in this previous video. MCP, you can take a look if you need it. What is the core design concept of MCP? In a word, it connects all things. That is, various external services are passed through MCP. The universal USB interface is all connected to the AI. For example, various software, various social platforms, websites and databases, etc. So the two are completely different in terms of original design concepts. I have summarized the table here to compare agent skills and MCP. Let's look at the difference in function first. Agent skills mainly solves one thing. It is to encapsulate steps, rules, and logical judgments. That is, it is a set of professional processes directly into a reusable ability. MCPs do things differently. Its core role is to provide a standardized tool interface for AI, a system that allows AI to access the web safely and standardly. For example, API databases, low material services. Let's take a look at the applicable scenarios. Add-in skills, it is better used for fixed processes that need to be executed repeatedly, and the task relies on professional experience. In essence, it is to solidify professional knowledge. Then let the agent follow the rules to execute stably. MCP is more suitable for AI to obtain external data, or you need to call an external system to complete an operation. For example, things like querying data, sending messages, call interfaces. It is even more intuitive if you look at typical examples. Common applications of agent SKUs. For example, like screening, resume, reimbursement, approval, process review. These are multi-step tasks with strong rules. And what about the typical MCP scenario? For example, querying GitHub to send Slack messages, access to the database, which essentially helps the AI use the tool. Then look down at the threshold of use. Agent SKUs has a relatively low threshold for use. Usually using Markdown and some scripts can be used to define clearly. Process also has capabilities, but the bar for MCP is much higher. You need to understand the protocol, configure the interface. Sometimes you need to deploy MCP server yourself, which requires more engineering capabilities. Finally, we are most concerned about token consumption, and Atom's use adopts a gradual disclosure method. Load the corresponding steps only when needed, as well as information. Therefore, the overall token consumption is relatively low. MCP often loads all the data at once. Its token consumption will be significantly higher, so we can understand it this way. Agent skills is responsible for how to get things done. MCP is responsible for how to use the tools. They are not a substitute relationship. Instead, they solve problems at different levels in an agent system. That's all about agent skills. It can be said that this is definitely a very practical AI skill. Think about what repetitive processes exist in your own work. Can it be mixed into a skill and let it be executed automatically? Then you can try it out. Okay. Finally, thank you for watching and liking, and support us to see you in the next video. Thank you.